All right, ladies and gentlemen. Last night I texted Carlos. Carlos had just got a Tudor Black Bay steel. It's so weird. It's almost as if he were reading my mind. I didn't even tell him that was my favorite Tudor, and that it suddenly had become a huge part of my watch imagination after this Tudor Black Bay steel arrived. And I texted Carlos last night. I said, Carlos, I'm depressed. I have this Tudor. It's been like a giant wrecking ball to my watch channel, to my watch collecting. I think I'll just delete the channel. I'm done. I'm just going to take a break from watches. I can't deal with the stress of having this Tudor. It's done something to me. Now I have to give you context. So a few days ago, I write a story about an alter ego named Jeff McMahon who's in therapy for his watch addiction, and his friend gets a free Tudor Black Bay steel, not this particular Black Bay GMT, but he gets a free steel off of a dying man, and the whole event, it depresses Jeff McMahon, and he abandons the watch hobby, he abandons his YouTube channel, and so after I write the story, I get a surprise package from Lee, of a Tudor Black Bay GMT. And then Carlos gets a Tudor Black Bay steel. And then it was very disruptive. It was like a wrecking ball to my entire collection. And I just wanted to give you what this disruption has been. The disruption that I've had in the last week from having this very impressive Tudor Black Bay. Number one, it made me look at something. I spend about $6,000 a year curating mid-level watches, when I could quit the BS and spend $3,500 on one watch. That thought came to my mind. Number two, it made me wonder if my YouTube channel is just a Seiko. Do you know how to say the word Seiko, McMahon? A Seiko echo chamber or a feedback loop where I'm having the same conversation over and over and over again, ad nauseum. And number three, this is interesting. Having this Tudor Black Bay GMT has made me it's made me esteem my Seikos less and more at the same time. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, less, I can tell you this. The Tudor is vastly superior in build quality. I mean, when you wind the crown, for example, it's a whole different beast. And the Seiko is almost like a child's toy in comparison. And at the same time, though, I actually esteem my Seikos more, because I'm looking at the price point and you're getting very desirable designs, top-notch loom, comfort, functionality, and low service costs, which means low service anxieties. And so it kind of made me esteem my Seikos even more and less at the same time. The other thing that occurred to me in the state of disruption I'm in is I realize you can't buy a Seiko as a substitute for a Tudor, and nor can you buy a bunch of little Seikos and it will add up to a Tudor. There's no such thing as a Seiko consolation prize for a Tudor. A Tudor is its own beast, and you have to get it for what it is. The other thing that I thought about is when you wear the Tudor, and I talked about this, there's a lot of confidence when you wear it, and it has what I call the it factor. And it made me look at my Seikos and say, all right, of all the Seikos in your collection, which one has the it factor the most? And it's the Tuna right here. Now this Tuna is Hardlex, so if you wanted a quartz watch with a lot of it factor, you could get a Sapphire Tuna right now. They're about $1,500. And that's not a bad choice if you want reliable quartz, low service. Don't look at the Seiko Tuna as a substitute for the Tudor. It is, in my experience, a Seiko that has a lot of it factor. And I've not had a Grand Seiko Sport watch GMT. My guess is it would too. My guess is it would. If I had to bet money, I would say that some of those Seiko, Grand Seikos have that it factor as well. And so it's been very disruptive. I honestly, looking forward now, what are you going to do? Well, having this Tudor, you know, maybe go down and talk to my watch buddy Rafi for 15 years. He owns Watch City in Torrance. He's such a great guy. I wanted his opinion. And first of all, he loved the Tudor. He goes, dude, that is so you. God, that looks good on you. And he agreed with me. No way that looks like a 41 millimeter. It plays like a 45. He was wearing his Seiko Grand Touring blue dial. And he said, yeah, it looks just as big as my 44 millimeter Grand Touring. And so, you know, I've been looking at Tudors, and I do like the Tudor Black Bay Steel 7930 and the all red bezel Black Bay GMT 79230. You know, you can probably buy them used mint for $3,200, probably new for $35. You know, talking to a guy who curates a floundering YouTube channel and spends about $6,000 a year buying the same mid-tier watches over and over again. And so in a way, getting this Tudor's kind of depressed me in a way. It's given me a lot of anxieties in a way, but it's kind of been a gift, because you should be disrupted from your stagnation and you're doing the same thing over and over again. One final thought before I get out of this joint is service costs for a Tudor. You know, I'm doing research. I'm having a hard time getting a definitive answer to service costs. Rafi, he will hand deliver the Tudor to his friend who works on them in Pasadena, and his friend will charge $650, and Rafi says that will be about every 6 or 7 years, and that's without parts. And then Carlos has a watch mechanic here in LA who will charge $400 for a routine service. And then, you know, if you go on the forums, they're all over the place. I would love to have more knowledge on service costs. I'll be 60 in 5 months, so it's a possible scenario that I could live long enough to have 3 service costs, or an early expiration would mean only 2. I think I'd rather pay for the 3rd service cost, live a little longer, give me more time to figure things out. That's just me. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, huge disruption from having a Tudor, but it's definitely given me a context to look at my Seikos in a new way, and appreciate your comments, especially about service costs for a Tudor. What kind of story, I mean, I think we're all here to get good information on something like that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm out.